Bienvenidos worldwide fans of cinema. Jaime En Fuego here for a giant-sized version of Enfuegotainment because we are hanging out for my horror show co-host birthday weekend. Miss Marsha Parker, what up, girl?
Thank you guys for doing this with me.
Oh, I know how much you love the wizarding world, and this is a continuation of it. Well, actually kind of a prequel bit of it, right?
Yeah, because it was way before Harry Potter's time.
Exactly. So I want to thank Andrew Mercer, Brittany Lee, and Cecil Laird, also familiar faces that you probably see me with on the horror show. So we're talking fantastic beasts and where to find them.
You've known for 24 hours that an unregistered wizard set magical beasts loose in New York?
Yes.
Where is this man?
So, you're the guy with the case full of monsters, huh?
Whose travels first?
Mr. Scamander, do you know anything about the wizarding community in America? We don't let things loose.
Hey, Mr. English guy, I think your egg is hatching.
You wiped his memory, right? The no magic.
What?
No magic. The non-wizard.
Sorry, we call them muggles.
Or as I was calling it for a while, fantastic beats and where to drop them. I know, it's silly, guys. You can take that and run with it if you want. But we always do a little bueno, malo, and feo here on Enfuegotainment. So something good, something bad, and something ugly. And I loved this movie far more than I was anticipating. Visually, we all know that that was going to be cool, but I'm going to let Marsha run away with the first bueno and kind of expound a little bit on what you dug about this flick.
Well, the number one thing to love about it were all the magical beasts. I mean,
Yes.
they were so many and so cool and different, and especially like the little duck gopher thing that just
When he was stealing money.
stealing money. Like, it was just so amazing. You got in every little thing, even robbed a bank. I mean, it was amazing.
Yes, he was
And he's
super
adorable.
Cute. Oh, well, there were adorable ones, and then as me and Cecil like, there were some more fearsome creatures we got to see too, man. What did you like about this?
You know, I was gonna say, I'll agree with Marsha on the Beast because it was really neat. It was essentially a magical creature movie, which everyone that follows our stuff knows that creature movies are my favorite. But instead, what I'll say is I loved re-entering the world of wonder. And there was specifically the first time we actually get inside the briefcase or the suitcase.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah, that was just, you get to see, it's really so immersive in the world, and the audience analog is the short, stout dude with the mustache from the trailers. He is supposed to be our entry point into this version of the magical world. And I also liked that it was the American Ministry of Magic we were dealing with instead of the British one. So
yeah, different side of the coin. Brittany, what did you like about this movie?
I'd have to say I really liked the way they did all the you know, the little magical things when we first entered the American Ministry of Magic, and I just love all the transitional movements they do with the camera for all the little magical things that are just everyday life for them.
and the big magic clock.
Yeah, the
right
big
in the
magic
middle.
clock, all that.
I honestly felt the same way that I did when we first went into you know, the
Diagon
train
Alley.
station.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the first
Oh.
time.
From
Yeah,
9
that was
Yeah.
the way I felt when they first walked into that
Yeah, it's
spot,
just
so.
very nostalgia. It's awesome.
I am there. Mercer, bueno, man.
The bueno for me, I think the main character kind of took it away. Just his
Eddie Redmayne, Oscar winner.
Yeah.
his calm collectiveness, even though he's got this briefcase full of basically, you know, uncontrollable just monsters, and he's trying to shed a light that they're not so bad, and it's kind of, you know, one guy fighting for the cause against everybody else. So I kind of felt for him a little bit, and it was an easy character to get on the side of and watch him, you know, track down these beasts.
So J.K. Rowling wrote the script to this, and that was actually going to be my bueno, is the fact that while it was simple, it was effective and it was fun, and I was just filmed with such a sense of whimsy and that same sense of wonder that when I really started to appreciate the Potter series, you know, which wasn't until the third film, but it was there in the first two that Chris Columbus did, and David Yates directing again, bringing him back to really just give that touch that the last, 4 Harry Potter movies, I think he did all of them from Order of the Phoenix onward, and so yeah, the direction was great. Visually, it was majestic and fun, and it was a lot more of a fun movie than I was expecting, and maybe to its detriment, I'm going to use that to segue into the malo. I didn't really feel like there was ever much of a sense of dread or like, something that scary or messed up was going to transpire. I don't know, maybe that was just me, and also the simplicity, maybe people would have wanted something a little bit deeper, and the story was predictable at times. I mean, minor spoiler, briefcases get switched and you see it from a mile away, and so those are just a few gripes, but as a whole I really liked it. But some stuff that didn't work for you, Cecil?
Well, in regards to what you just said, actually, I wanted to mention that it did kind of feel a little bit shallow, not quite as deep as you'd like, but at the same time, I also got very much a feeling that we were only supposed to be scratching the surface of this new version of the world.
Yeah, the introduction.
Yeah, and we've got 4 more movies coming, I think.
Yep.
So they purposefully, I think, left a lot out, and it's the segue into my bad, which I'm going to twist into one of the good bads, like I tend to do sometimes, because there wasn't much I didn't like about this movie, but what I don't like is the fact that I have to wait to find out more about all these little bits of information that she dropped. There was a Lestrange mention that I was like, ooh, she's related to Bellatrix. Oh, okay, cool. And there's a bunch of other little things that I don't want to ruin, but there's just little awesome things that I know are going to pay off later, and things I know I don't realize are going to pay off later. I'm excited to find out what those reveals are going to be, because Rowling is known for having reveals of stuff from even books ago that we didn't realize was coming. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome.
But I'm upset I have to wait for it.
Yeah, so that is Cecil's bad. Marcia, what about you? Something that didn't work maybe for you?
The villain kind of touched back what you're talking about. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but the overarching story of the big bad in this movie was kind of lame and kind of weak. And it just I didn't care. And even the
that depends which one you're talking about, because there's without spoiling too much, there's different forces going on.
I understand, but I'm talking about the obscurity. Yeah, I thought that was dumb.
Now, so I have not read the book. So is this coming from someone who has read the books?
No, I just thought it was lame. I didn't think it was something that carried the movie. I was more interested in the Fantastic Beasts story and focusing on what's going on. I know it was the plot device to get going for the overall probably series.
It was originally a book within a book, and then they released the book. Do you guys can anyone expound upon this?
Oh no. Yeah, it was one of their textbooks in one of their early years, and then Rowling released a very thin, essentially
book
encyclopedia,
itself, right?
which was really just a catalog of beasts. It was their statistics. It was it was the Grindylow, and the Grindylow is this, and it was first found here, and blah blah blah, and that was basically it. It was just an encyclopedia of beasts, and so she's like, oh well, let's tell the story of the guy that wrote the book, and so that's literally all we have to go on. The rest is coming straight out of her brain, which is what's so exciting.
And so maybe that's another malo I could mention, is that the fact that somebody who isn't as well versed maybe might not get as much fulfillment, but I think this is even something where surface level people could enjoy it too.
I don't know. I guess I was spoiled with Harry Potter, where you have, Voldemort was just such a prominent threat, right off the beginning, that the secondary one, I feel like
they spoke him up, but they were speaking up Grindelwald a lot in this too.
Really?
With all the newspaper articles and all the
that
mentions.
went by super fast. And you didn't really tell what was happening.
That's another malo. Is that I was trying to read each headline.
They were like, "Oh, you didn't catch this guy. Okay, so what's so big about him?" I didn't catch. There was maybe a total of 5 minutes, compiled together where they actually talked about him, and it was still
they might have done better to show something that he had done. From the shadows or something, rather than
they didn't build
just
it up
telling
enough
us.
for me to care about his story. I was more focused on everything else.
Gotcha.
So
any bad stuff you could focus on?
Piggybacking off of that, I just thought the whole end of the movie, just how they explained it, didn't really make any sense. I know
didn't work as well for me either. Without spoiling stuff.
They kind of, they set things straight, but to me, there were still incidents that happened before all of that. So did they wipe all of that? I mean, it was just kind of like, there was supposed to be this bow on it at the very end, and I'm looking at 2 scraggly little strings. You guys didn't tie this one up very well. But
that's like a kid's shoes. He's gonna trip over himself, right?
But for me, the movie worked just because there was enough effects, there was enough, guessing at the plot and stuff like that to keep me interested in the movie. But walking out, it was kind of one of those things where you're reflecting on the movie, and I was like, wait a minute. I was supposed to buy that? That doesn't make any sense. So I try not to spoil anything, but literally, they went from destroying the city to it's all good. Everything's good. Don't
Yeah,
worry
the city
about
gets destroyed a little bit here and there.
A little bit.
Brittany, anything you can think of that you thought was bad? Malo, it didn't work so well.
I didn't particularly care for the duo love story they had going on.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
I liked half of it.
Yeah, half of it was really good.
Half of it was really cute. I
Half
really
of it
liked
was
it.
extremely
Yeah.
cute. The other side, I was like, okay, guys,
It felt
we've
forced,
seen this,
didn't it?
yeah, so
it
many
totally
times,
felt forced.
and yeah.
Especially at the end where
Yeah,
it's like,
they're
well, yeah, we can't say.
but yeah,
I'm with you there, yeah. So, little bits, but if we're going to get into bigger stuff like Feo ugly stuff, I had one in particular in mind. I was kind of surprised at how, I know my dad would say bunny hugger, but at how this would be like nominated by the World Wildlife Federation as like the fact that there was this subplot about creatures that are endangered and trying to protect them and all of this. It wasn't a bad Feo, you know. It was an intriguing one that kind of caught me off guard with it, and I felt like they really nailed the point home. Anybody else feel that a bit? Or?
I didn't feel it was too heavy-handed. I mean, it was.
I felt it fit his character.
Yeah,
I thought
just
for sure
like-
it was a
just
good
like
defining
Hagrid.
characteristic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's like a proto-Hagrid a
Yeah.
little bit. And who knows? Maybe he'll meet, a younger
Young
Hagrid and
Hagrid.
instill a love of animals into him or something like that. That would be really
interesting. I
neat.
like that.
Well, we got a Dumbledore reference in this, so
Yeah.
that was
Indeed,
cool. Yeah.
indeed.
I thought there was gonna be more of a Dumbledore, but apparently
He's
not.
coming in later movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anybody else something ugly like that really took them off guard? And it could work and it couldn't work. You know, it's just more on the extreme side of things, I guess.
I'm just sad that there isn't more. I wanted more. I mean,
Same as
2.5
Cecil, then.
hours was not enough. I wanted more.
And that it did feel long, but what I was
don't
going to
think
say.
it felt long. I felt.
I felt a little. It felt like there
I
were
wanted-
a little bit
I wanted
Lord of the
more.
Ringsy with the multiple endings.
It
to
dragged a little
Yeah.
bit in the third act when you thought it was going to be over,
You're like-
and then there's another ugly fight, and you're just like, really? Okay.
But what I was going to say is that I think that while the effects were great, there still
There
might
were
have been
times.
a touch too much CG for them to keep up with.
I agree.
And certain things just didn't work. And it's interesting. It's the non-fantastical magic use that didn't work as well. Like when they were moving plates onto a table, that looked way faker than all the magical creatures. to me.
Especially,
Yeah, I
unfortunately,
did,
with
yeah.
the 3D glasses on too, it
Yeah.
looked very CG floating. In the
I
So that
did
would be
notice
more
you had to hold your head a certain way.
Yeah,
And
Or
if you
couldn't. You
move,
can't tilt
can't
it.
tilt your
No,
head.
you got to
Yeah.
keep it straight on. Yeah.
And that's what's tough if you're seated off to like the right or the left side in these 3D theaters, and you're kind of going like that.
Yeah.
It's a little ugly. It doesn't work so well. Mercer, something ugly you can think of, man? Feo.
Man, ugly is probably not a good word to throw around with this movie. It's pretty clean all the way through.
Pretty beautiful.
I agree.
There, like I said, you can kind of
It's
dive
just
into the
part of the
plot
tropes,
and,
man.
and rip that apart and all that stuff. But I see bright futures for the franchise.
Oh, yeah.
J.K. Rowling's all over this. As a big fan of like classical mythology, stuff like that, this is something that it gets me giddy. But I don't know enough about the world that it comes from to be like, oh yeah, I know all about it. But just a world where there's giant fantastical beasts running around, something I can get on board any day.
Well, when I'm finished with the book, I'll give it back to Drew.
I
so
don't know
you
if I'm
can.
gonna read it. I'm not a reader.
It's not very,
See, this made me want to read the books because I read the first
What if I read it to
two, I want to say. Never got
She'll
past
make you an
that,
audiobook.
so.
I see in the future new additions coming to the Wizarding Worlds of Universal Studios.
Oh, I'm excited for
There's
that.
definitely, I think an American Ministry. I forgot what they called it, but
Yeah.
and I like the nomad.
The
I
nomad.
like
Yeah.
the saying nomad instead of
Instead of
muggle.
muggle.
I like
Muggles,
Muggles better.
Well, but
Really?
it
Hashtag
makes sense
Muggle.
that we'd have different.
That's
Regional,
yeah,
they have different
yeah.
slang.
I'm
It
not
makes
saying
sense.
it doesn't make sense. I'm just saying
No, I
Muggles
know,
obviously
but
better.
I'm just saying I
She
like
likes
it.
Muggle
It's
better.
original, so like,
Yeah.
Any ugly from
Lastly,
you?
Feo, Brittany.
gosh, that's really hard to pick something that's just particularly ugly about this movie. Yeah, the plot moved a little slow and then a little fast in other places where I felt like they should have slowed down. So
Yeah, there were times when it didn't feel like over 2 hours, and then there were others.
Yeah, and then there were
where
other
it
times where
dragged,
you're
and
like-
oh, so here's where we get that extra time.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a little ugly for sure. But the last one that I want to mention is that I still remember being in, I think it was like 6th or 7th grade when the first Potter book came out. And I'm in a Christian school, right? And so the books were banned because they thought it glorified witchcraft and the occult and stuff like that. And honestly, making the bad guy in this, or well, one of the bads, a crazy religious woman who's like going against these witches and wizards and stuff like that. Probably not going to change anybody's minds on the religious side about things. I'm just thinking about my parents. I love you guys, but I can imagine you saying, "Wow, they're really not painting Christians in a very nice light in this movie."
I do like how like the evil Salem watch people or whatever caused the big thing that happened. I don't want to give away too much, but
there's a spark which is done by the wizard.
But yeah, don't suppress yourself.
Express yourself.
Express yourself. Yeah.
Well, gracias for listening to all of us express ourselves about this, guys. It was a ton of fun getting a large group together for what's probably going to crush at the box office, I'm assuming. And like Cecil mentioned, 4 more films are coming. So I could extend a grande gracias to Brittany Lee, Andrew Mercer, birthday weekend girl Marsha Parker, my running buddy Cecil Ayer. Thanks so very much. I've been Jaime En Fuego. You can always find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, doing all kinds of filmtastic stuff. And also, don't forget to check out The Horror Show, the project that you've seen all of us on. Cecil's going to give you guys a quick shout out about that.
Just real quick, it's a YouTube horror variety show at The Horror Show channel, youtube.com/The Horror Show channel, and we do movie reviews, how-tos, comedy sketches, celebrity interviews, event coverage, trailer reactions, everything under the horror umbrella you can find right there, so check it out.
Yes, gracias, Cecil. It's been a year of badass growth for us on that, and thanks for coming along the way for the little growth on my channel as well. And until next time, Sin Amigos, I gotta say hasta luego, but let's make it sooner rather than later. Porfa, I'll see you then. Peace.